Hi guys, we'll get started in a few minutes once a few more people join. Hi everyone, if you just joined, we'll get started in a few minutes. All right. Hi everyone. My name is Akansh. We will be doing a introduction to Python course for the next 3 weeks. We'll be doing 8 classes. Just to introduce myself, I'm a junior in Portland, Oregon at Westview High School. I've been doing Python for around 3 years, and I've used it in a lot of different applications. So some in competition and some in research. So if you were able to install Python, can you give like a thumbs up or something? Okay. 2 people, 3 people. Okay.
It won't let me give a thumbs up, but I did install it.
Okay. And Ava, were you able to install Python? Okay. So in that case, we will get started. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So so basically Python is a programming language. It's considered to be like the easiest computer science language. It's one of the easiest programming languages since just the structures of, oh yeah, larger font. I'll do that. One second. Let me check. Okay. Okay, so Python is an introductory Python language or coding language, and it's a very good language when you're just getting started. So oftentimes, if you take like a computer science course in college, they'll start learning Python and then you'll learn another language. So we'll go over the very basics today, and the first of which is printing numbers and operators. So, for example, if let's say we wanted to calculate like 5 plus 3, right? And then display it to the console, we would go print 5 plus 3, and then hit enter. And we can see that this gives us 8. Then we can also do minus. So 5 minus 3, this would give us 2. And then we can do multiplication. So 5 asterisk 3, which gives us 15. And then division. So 5 divided by 3, which gives us this float. And then the last operator is called modulus. So what modulus does is it gives us the remainder. So the remainder when 5 is divided by 3 is 2, right? Because 3 goes into 5 once, and then there's 2 left over. So far, does this make sense? Any questions? And yes, I will share the recording afterwards. All right. So these are the 5 main operators. So just in the chat, I'll type a few problems, and then over here, I'll type a few problems. Then in the chat, just give your what do you think it will return? Okay, yeah, nice. So it seems, yeah, you guys all got the right answers. So one more interesting thing we can do is we can do more. We don't only have to do one calculation. We can do a bunch of different calculations in the same print statement. So for example, if we want to go like 5 plus 3 times 2, right? 5 plus 3 is 8, and then times 2 is 16. Oh. So like you can do more than one calculation inside of the print statement. Does that make sense? So for the people that just came in, were you all able to install Python? Just give a thumbs up in the chat.
Yeah.
If you weren't able to install Python, please send me a message in the chat, and then we will go through it together. Okay. So now let's say like we want to, yeah, so let me, so like let's say we want to store a value for later use. Like let's say we have like, let's say we're a bank, right? And we want to store someone's bank balance, and their bank balance is like $5,212. Well, it's very inconvenient, like if we want to modify their bank balance, to just type 5,212 a bunch of different times, right? So what we can do is we can create a variable. So if we want to create a variable, what we do is we say the name of the variable. So the name of the variable, and then an equal sign, and then the value of the variable. Does that make sense? So in the chat, write the code that would create a variable called name and assign it the value of your name. So for example, for me, that would look like name equals Akon. Actually, sorry, do your age instead. Let's do your age. So for me, it'd be age equals 16. So everyone write the code that would create a variable with your age in the chat. Good job, Alan. Yeah, okay. So essentially, some people did age equals a number without any print or quotes, and some other people did it like this. So the difference between these two lines, does anyone know the difference between these two lines of code? Just say it out loud. Yeah, go ahead, Himanish.
They both are like the. I mean, without the quotes, it won't work. But like any quote works.
So
So the first one is a number, the second one is a string.
yes, that's correct. So this first one, when we don't have the quotes, is called an integer, right? So for example, if we try to do age equals, like with and then the second one is a string. And the way we know it's a string is with these quotes. And the way we know this is an integer is when there's no quotes. So for example, if we try to do age or like name equals a conch, this won't work, right? Because a conch, this needs to be a string. We can only have no quotes when there's when it's a number. But we can do like age equals 11 because this is a number. So if we want to use text, right, or if we want to use a string, if we want to use letters, we have to put it in quotes, right? So we would do name equals Akon. Does that make sense?
But it doesn't matter double quotes or single quotes, right?
Yes, that's correct. So name, like if I do name equals Akon with single quotes, it also works. So now everyone in the chat, write a line of code that tells me your grade level, and write another line of code that tells me your favorite food. So for me, that'd be grade equals 11 and food equals pani puri. And if you have any questions, please ask in the chat. Okay, nice job. So one thing I'm noticing is some people are putting the value in parentheses, right? They're going like this. And so we can let me explain. So I think the reason we're doing this is because over here, when we're doing printing, we put the value in parentheses. But when we're just assigning a variable, we don't need the parentheses. Does that make sense? If we're assigning the variable, we just put in quotes.
But it'll still work even if we put parentheses around it, right?
Let's see. I've never. So so you're right. It does work, but
It's unnecessary.
yeah, exactly. It's unnecessary. Like parentheses is used when we're doing calculations. So now we will talk a little bit about variables in depth. So like, for example, let's say we have a variable a and we set it the value 5, right? So we do a equals 5. Now we can print a, right? We use print and then we open parentheses, then the name of the variable, then a close parentheses. And this will give us back the value 5. And then, like, let's say we have another variable called b, and this has the value 12. If we can also print b by going print, open parentheses, b, close parentheses, and then the console will give us back 12. Does this make sense so far, what we're doing here? So we created like a bag or a box. We called the box A, and then we put 5 inside the box. And then this print statement just tells us what's inside the box.
Yeah,
that make sense?
understood. Yeah, understood.
Okay, so
So-
now let's say we want to know what 5 plus, or we want to know what the boxes A and B, what the values of the boxes add up to. So then we can go like print A plus B. And what will this return?
5 plus 12.
Yes, so it'll give us back 17, right? So this print statement, it sees this expression A plus B, and then it looks inside of the box A, it looks inside of the box B, then it adds the two values, and then it tells us what the sum of the two values is. Does that make sense? Okay. So now let's say we want to create another box that has this value. What do you guys think we will do? What if we want to create another variable that has a value A plus B? How would we do that? Give us a guess in the chat. Yeah, so yeah, Alan, that's correct. So what we would do is we would create another variable called C, and then we would give it the value A plus B, right? So remember, whenever we're creating a variable, we put the name of the variable first, and then we put whatever parameters or whatever value of the variable you want to do next. Does that make sense? So we have C equals A plus B, and now we can do print C, and this gives us 17. Does this make sense?
So if we do like C, or like if we tell it to print C times A, it'll like do first A plus B and then multiply by A, right? Or
Yeah, you can think of it like that. So when I think you're right. No, actually, so once, like for example, we can we'll do it over here. So like we have A equals 5 and then B equals 12, right? And then we do C equals A plus B. Right now, this is the same. At this time, when we write this line of code, it looks into A, it looks into B, it sees that A and B add up to 17. And basically, behind the screen, it goes, writing C equals A plus B is the same as writing C equals 17. So then, it doesn't look back, like when we do print C, it doesn't look back and go, oh, C is A plus B. It goes, C is 17, because at this time we're defining A plus B is 17 and C as A plus B. Does that answer your question?
yeah, so it only does it once, not twice, or like
Yes, exactly. So like now, like we have this, right? So now if we go like A equals 15, right? Now A plus B is 27. But if we print C, we still get 17. So at the moment we define C, like it doesn't change afterwards. It just is defined fully. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, how about this? Create a variable that gives us the average of A and B. So like A is 14 and B is 16. Now create a new variable called C that calculates the average of A and B. And write it in the chat. Yeah, nice job, Chan. Nice job, Alan. Nice job, Himanish. Nice job, Kushi. Himanish, you have a question?
No.
Okay, I just asked, your hands up, that's why.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, so nice job, everyone. So Hasra, one thing for you. So you're saying C equals A plus B divided by 2. What this would do it would go 14 plus 16 divided by 2, right? Which is 22. We want A plus B in parentheses divided by 2.
I just have one question. Does it follow like Padmas or?
Yes, it follows PEMDAS.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is correct. So if we now go C equals A plus B over 2, and we can just paste that here. A equals 14, B equals 16, then C equals A plus B over 2. If we print A, we get 14. If we print B, we get 16. And if we print C, we get 15. Any questions?
So like, let's say like you put print like C in lowercase, will it still work, or is it like case sensitive?
It's case sensitive. So if we go print C like this, C is not defined. So that's a good question you bring up. Whenever you define a variable, it becomes case sensitive. And then a variable can only have letters and numbers, right? So we can't have any punctuation. We can't have any special characters. It can only be letters and numbers, and it's case sensitive. So that's something you have to be careful about. That's a great question. So now, okay, so now let's talk about strings a little bit more in depth. So again, just to repeat, everyone create a variable with your name and then print the variable. And put how you do that in the chat. Nice job, Alan. So if I were to do this, it would go like name equals a conch. And a conch, since we're using letters, we have to put it in quotes. Then we would go print name. So yeah, so I think the two mistakes where people are making is they're going like this. So this won't work because when we're putting letters without the quotes, it thinks a conch is a variable. But since a conch has never been defined, the program gets confused. So if we're using letters, we just have to remember to use quotes. And then I think one more person put after they defined their variable name, they put name in quotes, right? So what would happen if we do this? We can just try this here. The name equals a conch. And then if we print name in quotes, it just gives us back name. But what we want to do, since we're using the variable, we don't have to put it in quotes. We can just go name like this. And then it gives us back. Does that make sense? Okay. So now remember how we were doing like addition and subtraction with these variable names? We can do the same thing with strings. So like my first name is Akon and my last name is Mittal, right? So now if we print first name plus last name, okay, so first name equals Akon, last name equals Mittal. And then if we print first name plus last name, it gives us my full name. So essentially we can add strings together. The same way we can add numbers together, we can add strings together. So if we want to do spaces, there's two ways we can do it. So first we can go like my first name and then like a space, and then we add my last name. Right, and now it'll work. And then we can also do print first name, comma, last name. So there's two ways, right? We can just add the space directly, or we can use a comma. Does that make sense? Okay. So like, for example, okay, so all of you guys do the same thing I did. Create a variable for your first name, a variable for your last name, and then print out your full name. And type in the chat. Nice job, Alan. I'll give you guys a minute or two to do this. Nice job, Ava. Nice job, Pranav. So Aryan, remember to put your names in quotes since you're using strings. So Chan, what you did here is you went print first name, comma, space, last name. So what this will do is it will put 3 spaces, right? We have 1 space from the comma, then another space here, then the 3rd space here. So if you want to just put 1 space, you would pick between doing the comma, or you would do like a space with the plus signs. But yeah, nice job, guys. So then we can also, similarly to how we were like adding numbers and creating the variable, we can add like strings up and create a variable. So first we can do full name equals first name plus a space plus last name, right? And then we can print out full name. So everyone create a new variable that contains your first name and your last name, and write the code and put it in the chat. Nice job, Alan. Nice job, Ava. And just remember, some of you guys are putting the parentheses when you are like defining your variable. Putting the parentheses, it won't make it not work, but it's just unnecessary. So it's just a good thing to keep in mind, that it's just better to do it without the parentheses. Nice job, Jen. Yeah, so I'll explain why we don't need the parentheses. So this statement print is called a function. So print is a function. And when we have a function, think of it like a machine, right? The function is a machine. And when, like, for example, it's a like a pencil sharpener. So for example, you would put your pencil inside the pencil sharpener. So if we want to print, like this is our machine called print, and then we put our pencil inside the machine. Does that make sense? That's why we have parentheses. This is where we put the input for the function. But when we're just setting the variable name, or we're defining the variable and adding things together, like when you're like, there's no need to put the parentheses here, right? Because this isn't a machine, it's just a box, right? You can just put it inside the box by using the equal sign. Does that make sense? So while it'll still work if we put the parentheses, the common practice is to put it without the parentheses. But yeah, nice job, everyone. So now let's do this. So everyone print in like a small sentence giving an introduction. So For me, I would do, if I wanted to, my introduction would be, hi, I'm, and then my first name. So hi, I am, and then my name. And then we would do a period. I am from, and then my city. So I am from city. So everyone give an introduction in the same way. And I'll just demonstrate this for you guys. So when I put in my introduction, we get, hi, I'm Akansh, I'm from Portland. So everyone do the same thing. I'll give you guys like a minute or two, and then we'll keep going. Yeah, no worries, Manish. Nice job, Eva. Nice job, Pranav. Nice job, Chan. Nice job, Kushi. Oh, never mind. Kushi, you forgot to put, you put the comma in the quote in the wrong place. So you did city equals Portland, just like me. Then you went print, I am, comma, quotes, first name, comma, quote, dot, 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 dot. So this won't work because the print function, it needs something to combine these two. And since you put your comma inside the quotes, it will give us an error. So you just needed to, instead of putting the comma inside the quotes, you should have put it outside the quotes. Does that make sense? Yeah. Otherwise, good job though. So yeah, so that's great job, everyone. That's basically how we add strings together. So now we will talk about, like, let's say I want to also tell you my age, right? So maybe I can go like age equals 16 and then say dot I am age years old. Right, so let's say we want to do this. Let me paste this over. Okay, wait. So age is 16. And then now. So when we do the comma, it works. Like, let's say we want to, if we do one thing we have to be careful of is if we do the plus signs, it will get confused. See, so basically what happened here is age is an integer, and all of this, everything other than age, is a string. So it's like trying to add up apples and oranges, right? It's not, the Python program it gets confused when we try to add a string to a number to a string. So what we can do here is we either use the commas, or we can, instead of going age equals 16 as a number, we call age a set of strings. And then now, if we go like age equals 16, and then we paste it back in with the plus signs, it'll work. So everyone, include your age, create a variable with your age as a string, and using the plus signs, include the age in your introduction. And type it in the chat.
You're on mute.
Oh yeah, sorry. So we'll go over data types a little bit now. So basically, anytime you put something in between quotes, it's a string, right? So for example, if we go like apple equals delicious, right? This is a string since we're putting it in quotes. But then if we say age equals 16, this is an integer since it's outside of quotes. And remember, if we're putting something outside of quotes, it has to be a number, right? We can't go like apple equals delicious. This will result in an error. So I'll give you a little small quiz on data types. So for each of these 4 questions, for questions 1, 2, and 3, type in chat what the data type of the output is. And then for question 4, type which one of the 4 options works. Well, which won't result in an error. And also, like if we go age equals string 16, str16, this is the same thing as going age equals 16 in quotes. So this function just converts a number, an integer, to a string. Nice job, Alan. And also send your answers privately so that everyone gets their own chance. Nice job, nice job. Yeah. Okay. Nice job, guys. So actually, both B and C are correct. Right? We here in B we have a string, and then we're adding a string, and then we're adding another string. And in C, we're doing the same thing, right? We're adding a string, then we're adding another string, then another string. The reason A doesn't work is because if we're trying to concatenate, that's what it's when we're like combining 2 strings, it's called concatenation. We can't use this and sign. We have to use a plus sign. And for this one, if you want to convert something to a string, you just use str. And also, this would need to be like you have $50 is not defined. So are there any questions about this? Okay. So we'll go over the 4th data type now, which is called lists. So basically a list can have anything. So like, let's say we want to make a list called fruits, right? So when we want to create a list, we do open bracket and close bracket. And then inside the bracket is what we would put like our elements, right? So for example, fruits could be apples, pears, bananas, and pineapples. right? This is a list because it's 4 different things separated by commas inside of brackets. So now, like we can also put numbers inside of a list, right? So numbers could be 1, 50, 25, 32, and on and on and on, right? You can have as many items in a list as you want, essentially. Does that make sense? So everyone just create a list. You can put anything inside the list, and send it in chat. Nice job, Shem. Nice job, Alan. Nice job, Aryan. Nice job, Ava. Okay, yeah. So nice job, everyone. So basically, like let's say we have like a class, right? I wouldn't want to say like and define a different variable for each person, right? So like for example, I don't want to do name1 equals Sahasrara. Name2 equals Alan. Name3 equals Kushi. Right? If I were to do this, it would take forever, and I wouldn't know how many like different names there are, right? Like one person could join the class, one person could leave the class. So if I try to define a different variable each time, it's just inefficient and it's not practical. So instead, what we can do is we can do class equals our students, we'll say students equals the same thing, right? Sahasrara, Alan, Kushi, and then I could just keep going with all of your names, right? So that's the benefit of using lists, right? We can group a bunch of different things together under one name, under one variable. And then when, like, for example, if we print lists the same way. So if I define this list called students, here, I could go print students. And it would just print out all of your names, right? So one important thing about lists is we can add people and remove people from the lists. So like, for example, let's say Ava just joined class, right? Then we could do students dot append, and then in the parentheses put Ava, and then hit enter, and then again go print students. And see, now we have added Ava to the class. Does that make sense what we did here? So everyone create, using the list you'd made before, add one more element to the list and print it out and send it in the chat. Nice job, Alan. And if you can put these messages in the everyone chat so other people can see the example. So, sorry, I should have mentioned this. You can only put one item inside of a pen. So for example, Ava, you put white, yellow, and green. You can only put one of those at a time. Yeah. Otherwise, good job though. Nice job, Pranav. Yeah, okay. So I think this is a good stopping point for today. Do you have any questions? Right. So our next class will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 8:30 a.m. India time. We'll go a little bit more in depth on lists, and then we'll look at a few more things. So yeah, nice job, everyone. Oh yeah, I will email the recording to everyone so you can take a look back at it in the future. So if there are any questions, we will end the meeting, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, bye guys. Have a good day.
Thank you, bye.